आत्मैवेदं जगत् सर्वम् आत्मनोऽन्यन्न वेद्यते मृदो यद्वद्घटादीनि स्वात्मानं सर्वमीक्षते आत्मैवेदं जगत् सर्वम् आत्मनोऽन्यन्न वेद्यते मृदो यद्वद्घटादीनि स्वात्मानं सर्वमीक्षते. The entire universe is verily the Atman. Nothing whatsoever other than the Atman exists. Na vidyate anyat. Nothing other than Atman exists. Just as pots, etc., are clay, so too the enlightened sees everything as one's own self. See, you will only understand the helplessness of these masters. The helplessness, where does helplessness come from? The helplessness comes from because they have to speak the truth. And the truth is this. You can't ask them, why don't you say anything other than this? Okay? They are seeing Brahman and they will only tell what they're seeing, isn't it? They're sharing their perception. Just like their entire pots is nothing but clay. He's saying the whole universe is nothing but Brahman and Atman. All the pots are nothing but clay. All the ornaments are nothing but gold. It's just that we must develop that perception to see it. Yeah, pashyati sapashyati. We don't have the perception to see it. So he's just sharing what he's seen. So having merged with the self, they only have this perception of Brahman. Brahma Satyam Jagat Mithya. Brahman alone is the reality. So in the 39th verse, just a parallel, you can refer to it at your convenience. In the 39th verse, he spoke about the practitioner, the sadhak, having intelligently dissolved the entire world. So he says, having intelligently dissolved the entire pluralistic phenomenon, he is able to see the self. So there he puts it as a point of abhyasa. You dissolve the world to see Brahman. Here it is an anubhavam. Anubhavam is an experience. So there's a difference between abhyasa and anubhavam. And anubhavam comes only when you intensify your abhyasa. Abhyasa has to go on. The moment abhyasa goes, your anubhavam is knocked off. You lose that opportunity of getting that experience of the self. So only way you get that experience is abhyasa. And the integral aspect of abhyasa is, Badriji, can you read my mind? What is the Sanskrit word would you add before abhyasa? You'll have to speak Sanskrit, sir, or Hindi. So I keep giving you these difficult questions.
What is the precondition to abhyasa? Is that your question?
Yes, sir. More so,
you need two things. One is a strong motivation. Without motivation, you cannot do abhyasa. So that is one.
if I can clarify, rather, I'm looking for the Sanskrit word. One word. What abhyasa should give anubhavam?
Right.
What abhyasa will give anubhavam is the question. What was the second thing you were saying, wanting to say? One is the motivation, you said.
Yeah. The second thing is humility. You can't do anything if you think that you already know it. So that you have arrived. If you think that you have arrived, then your abhyasa will stop. So there has to be the thing that there is more to be done. Motivation gives you what needs to be done. And that sense of more to be done is once motivation tells you which direction your abhyasa has to go, then the other element is, I'm not there yet, so I have to persevere. I have to sadhana. Is sadhana the word that you are looking for?
No, abhyasa is the sadhana.
Sadhana.
Abhyasa. In fact, the word I was looking for, Badriji, is nirantara abhyasa.
Okay. Which is close to the second point I said in English.
Which is,
we have not arrived there yet, so we have to keep striving. That's what I said. Nirantara means continuous, isn't it?
Consistency. You
Consistency.
got to keep doing the same thing over and over again, isn't it?
It may not be the same thing, isn't it? Because you might progress and the abhyasa might take a different form, isn't it? It need not exactly be 100% repetition, isn't it?
No, the methodology could be the same, like doing reflection. Karma, bhakti, jnanam is the same.
Right. Yeah, the elements are the same, but what you do need not be the same. It's not like japa on a rosary, right? Where you keep doing the same thing. Then it's not that, isn't it?
No, I have seen japamalas have become polished. They've become beautiful round beads. They've become.
Yeah.
So that much tapas they have done, but nothing inside has changed. Only the japama has become polished.
Correct. Yes. So there has to be some movement also. I feel you can't. Abhyasa has to result in some movement.
Movement of the fingers. What movement are you talking about?
No, I'm talking. There has to be spiritual growth.
That is the result of that growth is abhyasa. So nirantara. So what gives us the result is what we're talking about is a certain element of shraddha or consistency. Right. So the non-consistency or inconsistency of an action doesn't give you the desired experience, which is anubhavam, which is the wisdom.
True.
So if you are able to, and consistency is often said to be repetition of a same act. It's not necessarily a different act, repetition of a same act or a similar act until it takes you to the destination. If I am digging for water, when you see these guys who you call a borewell guy to bore a hole to tap that water bed, what they're doing is just they're repeating the same exercise. They're going deeper and deeper into the bowels of the earth. That's all they're doing. If they keep switching from place to place, 10 feet here, 20 feet there, 30 feet here, 50 feet there, you will not get it. But if you hold on to a point and say, keep drilling, man, I think if you go to 500 feet, you'll get perennial water supply. That is consistency. You're going at one point, go deep, isn't it?
Right.
So that was what I was looking at, but I would give you 70% marks. 30% failed because you didn't say the Hindi word I'm looking for. I'm sorry. But fair enough. You have done very well.
It's not the first time I failed. It won't be the last time.
No, I didn't say fail, but it's okay. You're improving.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.